What's going on, everybody? This is Zach Dresch, and you are watching The Dresch Code, home of all things music, from a Dresch perspective. And today, we are continuing our discussion with Casey Kustak about the Foo Fighters. This is a top 10 Foo Fighters underrated gems. They have so many great songs in their catalog. He and I had very different choices in our song list. Hope you enjoy and take a look.
So yeah, let's get into the underrated gems section.
All right.
What do you got for honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, Dirty Water from Concrete and Gold.
Oh yeah, good choice.
I think that's just fun. It's
an experimental, like kind of 70s. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. And then you've got that the bridge near the end, you know,
just balls to the wall. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then I have Walking After You.
Oh, good choice.
Honorable mentions as well. And I think some of the ones that you shared too would be, if we're underappreciated, is
sure.
In there. I think we can pick a bunch of the songs from In Your Honor and from Echoes to go on in there. The underappreciated ones, this is where it got really hard for me, and that's what she said.
You just snuck that in there. That's what she said. Oh. Yeah, I've got some underrated ones. Like when I talk underrated, I mean fucking underrated. I've got Sean from the Saint Cecilia EP.
Okay, all right.
That's a fun song. Yeah, it's dumb, but it's just like that whole Sean, like that whole section. Sonic Highways, we have not discussed anything from that yet. I've got In the Clear. I like that song a lot.
Ooh, Outside, I think, would be mine.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I've got Floaty from the first album.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool kind of dream poppy, but Foo Fighters-ish song. I like that a lot.
For All the Cows would be mine.
For All the Cows, yeah. This is a call. I still love that song. Not one of my top 20 though. It's up there, but it's not like
It's fun to hear it 25 years later.
Yeah, it's the song that really started it all, and I think that's why they still play it all the time.
Yeah.
MIA from There Is Nothing Left to Lose. I really love that song.
See. The bigger Foo Fighters fan, here's what I'm going to say is like you went above and beyond for this. I really held myself back from picking so many fucking songs to talk about, but you are saying every single one of my honorable mentions right here.
Really?
Yeah.
What else you got?
For I think we can just jump into the list, but I'm going to say number 10 is Come Alive from Echoes.
Ooh, okay. Interesting choice. Why that one?
It's, again, another really beautiful song. The trouble with it is that it's very repetitious. Come alive, come alive, you know? Yeah. But I think what really turned me onto that song is that the demo version of it sounds so much better than the produced version.
Sure, yeah.
And then there was a choir that sang that song, and they sold their version of it to raise money for suicide prevention and awareness. Specifically in men. And when you find out that that's exactly what the fucking song is about, you're like, holy shit. And it's heavy, and you're like, oh, this is another one of those Dave wrote a song about Kurt things. And I could be completely off basis there, but it's that's why I put it at number 10. It's the repetition, it gets it, but it's a beautiful song and everybody needs to hear it.
I am willing to bet there are more songs about Kurt than we know.
That's so too.
Because Dave does not want to prod that aspect of his life anymore, because I'm sure the first 5 to 10 years of the band, especially when they were still popular, but they weren't like Arena, the hugest band in the world. Right. They were like, is this song, like Nate Mendel said in the documentary, is this song about Kurt? What's this song about? Is this song about Kurt? Yeah. So I think there's more songs.
Back and forth for you people who don't know what documentary we're talking about.
Yes, check out that documentary. That's the one that I was always a Foo Fighters fan. That documentary made me a lifelong fan. So that was the moment absolutely. I knew. Yeah.
That documentary came out and they aired it on VH1 uncut with no commercials. in 2011, shortly after Wasting Light came out, my daughter had just been born, and she got up, and that was the first thing that my daughter and I did. Like, you know, weeks after she was born, we sat in the chair in her bedroom and we watched that documentary. I watched that documentary while I rocked her to sleep, you know.
Oh, that's adorable.
I'm like, this is going to be our thing forever. So yeah.
I love that. That's great.
So your number 10.
My number 10 is Up in Arms.
Ooh, it's such a good song.
The reason why is the first 2 minutes and the second 2 minutes. It's just quiet, then banger. Like, I just love it so much. Yeah. They need to play this more often. I'm pissed that they don't. It bums me out. It's just it'd be a great live arena song, honestly.
They, for the Wasting Light tour, he sang that song at a couple of different shows.
Yeah, I saw it in Australia. They played it there. Yeah.
That was one of the acoustic versions that they would come out and do with See You, and yeah.
I love that. I love that song so much.
That's a good one. Oh man.
Yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah.
February Stars.
That's further up on mine.
As we close out February.
Yeah, it's further up on my list. I will get to that, but yeah, I agree.
Oh, this is why the underappreciated ones and the gems. It was so hard for me to make this list, but February Stars is that very, very soft, and then February Stars.
Yeah.
Oh.
Floating in the dark.
Yeah.
We're going to get copyright.
It was very, very short. We're
very short.
Okay.
It's not like we played it. But yeah, is there anything else specifically that gets you about that song?
It's just it's a fun number. It's, you know, you don't expect the growl and whatnot in there, and you know, it's, again, I'm gonna say it here. You're gonna hear me say it multiple times, but the Foo Fighters write very, very beautiful songs. Dave Grohl really pulls from a number of different places and aspects in his life to create this music, and it's fun to just watch artists create their shit rather than have 14 different people write it. You know, people like Dave for a reason, and there are people who absolutely hate him because they think he's got, you know, rock god syndrome, you know, like I'm the greatest of all time. But I mean, I don't see it. I think he's generally a nice guy, genuinely a nice guy, not generally, genuinely a nice guy.
Probably both.
Yeah. But I think he pulls from places and writes amazing pieces of art.
Yeah, I agree.
You're number 9, my friend.
Generator.
Oh, that one's higher on my list.
There you go. That talk box, gets me every time. First time I saw them, they played that. I was like, what?
That was also the Wasting Light tour, was when I first saw them play it live, and I lost my fucking shit. I was like, this is one of my favorite songs of all fucking time. Everybody shut the fuck
up. Yeah. My first tour was Wasting Light. And they played an extra hour because Lemmy got stuck in Texas. Were you at that show?
No.
The Council Bluffs one?
No, I was at the Cities for that. That was the one where I actually got to high five Dave.
Oh, nice. The show I was at, Motorhead was supposed to open, but Lemmy got stuck in Texas, so they couldn't play. So Dave said, we're going to play an extra hour to make up for lost time. And so I got
Royal Blood open for us.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good choice. Yeah, I had Biffy Clyro open, and then Foo Fighters played an extra hour.
Fuck, I would have killed for that. God damn it.
So I got For All the Cows, Generator, Skin and Bones.
Skin and Bones is an honorable mention as well. I had a hard time trying to find that on the rankings for me.
I like that too. I couldn't quite place it either, for sure. What's your number 8?
It's a quick one. T-shirt off.
Sure.
Gold. And that's just a fun song. Starts off, I don't want to be king. I just want to sing love songs. Bam!
You could tell, like, I'm pretty sure Paul McCartney was a huge influence, especially on this album. And he played drums on Sunday Rain.
Yeah, on Sunday Rain. But we'll get into that whole album here shortly, but yeah. And your number 8.
Hey Johnny Park.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
I always feel like I've heard that hook somewhere before, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Foo Fighters. But it feels like a hook I've heard before.
Yeah. You're going to see a lot of that. Actually, no. Never mind. They were all kind of covered. Like they're all like at the top and the bottom for Color and the Shape and Nothing Left to Lose stuff. That's all kind of all over the place. Okay. But that song was one of those songs that should have been bigger than it was. I think they tried to release it as a single. It didn't quite work out. They played it at that first Wasting Light show I saw, so that was amazing too because they had an extra hour. Like fuck it, we're gonna pull out all the stops. So
I haven't seen that one live yet. So.
I was like, what?
And I was hoping that when they came to Sioux Falls the first time, I went in with low expectations. I'm like, this is going to be a greatest hits because it's their first time here. And that's exactly what it was. And I was like, still fun as fuck. Yeah. But for me, not my favorite of the Foo Fighters shows I've ever been to. So
yeah, and I was really disappointed they closed with an AC/DC cover. Instead of close with one of their own songs. I was just like, you have 9 at that point 9 albums. Come on.
Number 7 for me is Congregation from Sonic Highways. And that's just a fun one too, where again, it's another soft song and then it's, do you have blind faith? No false hope. Just
that prog rock section with Zach Brown, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So it to me, it's just on this list of underappreciated gems because it's a fun ditty. It doesn't really hold any meaning to me. It's just one of those like I love this song and I don't know why. It's just fun for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. My next one, number 7, is a B-side from There's Nothing Left to Lose. It's Fraternity.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
I love that song. It's so catchy. It should have been on the album.
See, and I avoided a lot of the B-side pieces for your fans so that they could jump in and pick out a bunch of things.
Sure.
Instead of having to search for songs like Fraternity, which are very hard to find,
They're actually, it's on streaming services now. That song is. Yeah.
On Apple Music, they've released a bunch of Foo Fighters B-sides and live pieces. So go and check that out. I think it's exclusively with Apple with most of those things, but there are some of them on Spotify as well.
Yeah. Another B-side that's not on my list, but Dear Lover was another favorite of mine too. Yeah.
I love that song. Number 6 for me is Cold Day in the Sun.
Ooh, Taylor Hawkins one. Yeah.
Yes. And the live version is better than the recorded version. Hands down. And this was from the In Your Honor album. And even the Sticks and Stones live album of that came out shortly after In Your Honor, it's a much better tune.
I mean, Skin and Bones.
What did I say?
Sticks and Stones.
Sticks and Stones. Oh,
that's a Newfound Glory album.
That is. You know what? I guess I'm not as big of a Foo Fighter fan as
no.
Can we end this right here? Let's just jump to the albums.
I'm kidding. All right. I feel like at some point.
Sorry, Dave.
I probably will do a Newfound Glory ranked at some point.
Obviously, you're gonna have to invite me to that one too. I even have Skin and Bones as my honorable mention album.
For my number 6, I have Bridge Burning.
Okay, yeah.
I just love it so much. That album, that track kicks off Wasting Light perfectly, and it's just good.
I love the little warning on Wasting Light that says, listen to this loud. You need to listen to this album loud. And it certainly does kick off with a banger in Bridge Burning. That's not on my list. But I like how our underappreciated gems are really so
vastly different. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
My number 5 is White Limo. And that is, again, just another fucking headbanger to go right on in. And I mean, there's a reason I don't have any hair. And it's that song.
I get you.
It's a fun one. I mean,
yeah.
I said, you think after all my life your neck hurts. That one really put me in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that's such a good one too. It's higher up on mine actually. Number 5. This is a random one, but I've got "Lonely As You" from One by One.
Oh yeah, shit. This is what I mean. This was really tough to pick a lot of these.
Yeah,
because "Lonely As You," I used to listen to that song on fucking repeat.
Yeah. The one that made the album is great, and the $1 Million Demos version is fantastic too. It's got a different vibe to it. I really like it.
Yes. You couldn't have picked a better list. Like, I'm looking forward to going back and listening to these albums all over again and taking what you said about them and putting myself in your shoes as I listen. Number 4 is Love Dies Young off of
that's a great
Midnight.
track.
It closes out Medicine at Midnight, and I think it's the perfect song to close out that album. Yeah. And it's a fun number, and that is, I would say, that is probably one of the better dance songs on that album. Like I listen to that and I just get Love Dies Young.
Yeah, that song, it's not on my list, but it was very close because I just had to whittle down and it just didn't quite. But that's one of the half that album is great and half that album is good. That's on the great side.
Yes.
So nothing on that album is like, oh, screw it. I'm not like that. But like Love Dies Young is one of those that I frequently go back to.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, Love Dies Young is probably an honorable mentions at this point. Very close, but not quite top 10.
One of your 30 honorable mentions.
Exactly. I had a couple others, but I'll get to them later. My number 4 is But Honestly off of Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace.
See, and I was going to put that one in there, and I had to choose between that or Come Alive. And I went, they're both the same song to me because they're both repetitious.
Yeah.
But Honestly is that song again, this is where you start to kind of get into this pattern with the Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters. Why am I talking like this?
The Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters. This is that pattern you start to see with the Foo Fighters as they started creating these later albums where a lot of the songs began to become very repetitious in it. And you're like, did they lose something here? But it's still a great song. It's still a great song.
For sure. Yeah. For me, it's just the beautiful melodies with the acoustic guitars and then the kickoff that just is so quintessential Foo Fighters at the end. That's what makes it so much for me. I'm like, that's one of those songs they should still play. Well, they shouldn't do it every show, but like they should bring it out every once in a while and just be like, hey, here's one that we haven't played in a while. Like that's that quintessential Foo Fighters song for me.
I would love to see that one live.
Yeah,
I really would. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that on any of the tours, but
I think they played it at Wembley for that DVD they recorded, but they just cut that song out.
I know.
Yeah,
that doesn't count though.
Yeah, yeah.
Number 3 for me is Generator. You had that lower on your list. And again, it goes back to that. It's a really pretty love song with being a relatively ugly song. But it's a lot of fun. And, I do think about those lyrics. And this is where I get really sappy in it, is that like that's the song that I go, oh, yeah, Abby's my generator. Or I'm Abby's generator, but I really think she's mine. Like she keeps me going. So sometimes I like to think she's singing that one to me. I know I'm stupid and sappy.
No.
But I love that song. It's just,
it's great. It's so good.
Again, the piece. It's that writing. It's the writing.
Yeah, I love it. My number 3 is the opposite of that. It's White Limo. It was years before I really looked up what the lyrics were. And then I looked them up. I'm like, what the hell is this? Whatever happened to Dayglow Jones? Dow!
Go on with your bad self. They're just like, look, nobody's gonna understand these. We'll just say whatever the fuck we want, and yeah, we'll give you guys a banger.
Yeah, first time I saw them at that show, they played White Limo too. I'm like, oh, come on.
That's a fun one just to hear every time. Number 2 for me is Home. Another just beautiful song. And you know, when you hear that for this particular album for Echoes, Dave Grohl taught himself to play the piano. And that was the first song that he wrote. And you're like, fuck, it's beautiful. And it has a Beatles vibe. Not In My Life. But I can't think of it. There are places I remember.
Oh, that's In My Life. That's In My Life.
It is In My Life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Home and In My Life are very similar, I think. And I felt like you could feel a little bit of the Beatles inspirations there. So I was right. I'm a Beatles fan. Bring me on that show, I guess.
Yeah. Statues. Also, side note, Statues to me sounds like a Steely Dan song on that same album.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
You're number 2, buddy.
Aurora from There's Nothing Left to Lose.
Yeah,
I just love the delay guitar on that and just the building of it. And just, I'm so happy they're playing it on this recent tour. I hope they play it in Sioux Falls.
I'm sure they will. will. And, you know, because it's their second time, I'm anticipating some different songs, which is going to be fun. Aurora and that entire There's Nothing Left to Lose feels like an album they recorded in space.
It does. Yeah.
Right.
It's Dave's voice is very airy.
Yes.
Like there's no aggression on the album except for stacked actors a little bit, but that's about it.
Right. Nope. Yep. Good. I'm glad we're both seeing this.
Yeah. That whole album sounds like you're just in space. Like it feels like that. Yeah.
Number 1 for me for underappreciated gems is I Should Have Known off of Light.
Beautiful song.
Yes. Again, it's the lyrics. It is about Kurt. But you know, just that build up and that bass, doom, 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 doom. It's so pretty.
Yeah. And the fact that you got Chris Novoselic on it, it's like,
yeah. It's Fuvana.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Oh yeah. For my last choice, we've already discussed it. February Stars is my favorite.
Wow. Okay. I forgot that you said it was higher on your list. So number 1, I need to know why it's number 1.
It was a grower. It took forever for me to get into. Because when I was a kid, it was like, this isn't Monkey Wrench. It's not like that. But it's one of those songs that builds beautifully. And I think at a time in my life when depression and anxiety was very high, I loved the lyrics of hanging on, here until I'm gone, right where I belong, just hanging on. Those lyrics for me were just, I felt like I was just hanging on. I was just here, but no purpose. And that's why that song means a lot to me. I guess a lot of those lyrics for sure. And then the climax at the end with just the giant chords. And yeah, it's just a beautifully written song.
Yeah. No, I think that's really powerful, and you know what? I'm not going to tell you how to do your podcast or do your YouTube, but we should really put in, you know, the suicide hotline number down here and tell people to reach out and talk to your friends and whatnot. You know, not everybody can get through with music or other forms of art, and there are people out there to talk. And absolutely, but you know, music is a healer. Even the sad songs, there's a healer because you learn from it. And February Stars is definitely one of those songs. You know, when you are feeling depressed, you're like, yes, I can hold on. You know, absolutely. I wonder if he wrote it in February. Because like February is like that last month before there's like a feeling of renewal with spring coming and everything. Ooh.
I wonder if that's part of it.
Are we getting existential with the Foo Fighters?
I think so, and I'm okay with that.
Hello, Jack. You're getting existential with the Foo Fighters. Tell us.
Also, I love the Skin and Bones version too. I love that version of this song too.
Yeah.
With Chris Shiflett's little guitar at the beginning. That's so good. That's really good. I like that song a lot.
Every version of that song. I don't think I've ever heard a bad version of that song. So, yeah. I would love to see them do that live. And that's a song where people are going to pull out their cell phones or their lighters and things like that, because it is beautiful. It is absolute. It is probably one of the most perfect songs ever. It's lower on my list, but I mean, like I said, any of these could be number one. Any of these could be number one. So
totally. That's our underrated gems.
Thanks for watching this video, everybody. What are your favorite Foo Fighters underrated gems? Did you have a similar list? Did you have a drastically different list? Let me know in the comments section. Be sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and we'll see you right here on the next video on the Dresh Code.